Hi friends. So long time back, I was not publishing any kind of tutorial on my YouTube channel due to different reason, not getting the enough time to work on these things. But now, as MCP is a buzzword and it is taking the industry like a storm, I thought, and I was going through a lot of tutorial on MCP just to see, whether the idea, the context are pretty clear. So, there are a lot of good videos around, different academies, YouTube also. But what I feel that, mm, if you are already a developer who is working for a long in this industry, especially if you are a senior developer or you are an architect and you want to, just connect the dots because, you know, working on industry for so many years, you could have learned a lot of things, correct? A lot of principle, a lot of theories, a lot of design patterns. Now, none of the NCP tutorial I found is correctly addressing the glue. I need the glue between, what we have already learned. Like, with the developer, we have a very different kind of mindset to learn a thing, to know a thing, right? So in this tutorial, it will be having a very different, or multiple session around it. Okay. And what I'm trying to do over here, so why this particular, YouTube session and this particular tutorials will be very different than other tutorials. It's like that, as I am coming from the development background and working as an architect, so I know how a developer actually think, okay, and what is the reasoning going on in the developer mind or an architect mind. So my purpose is that how do we, conjugate those factors in a very simple language, okay? So how we simplify our learning path and we can connect the dots about our mind frame, our developer mind frame, and when we are learning the MCP. So these two dots need to be connected to each other. So that is the only purpose I'm serving over here in this tutorial. So it will be having a multiple session because I don't I don't believe on crash courses. Okay. So, if you want to, not only MCP, if you want to learn anything, okay. So what you need to do that, you have to understand the philosophy, the building blocks, and the why part plus. Why we should be learning MCP. Correct. Why even the MCP exists. That's the thing that you want to learn, you want to see it first. So my objective in this tutorial is pretty simple. I will keep my tutorial as simple as possible from my end, and I will, demonstrate you simple building blocks to connect and build your own MCP, paradise out of it. Okay. So what I can promise to you that, if you watch all the tutorials of MCP that I'm going to publish in this particular channel, once you complete that thing, you will be having a better understanding, a better grip to control the MCP and to take the MCP on your own way. Okay, so it is not about a crash course we will be completing by 1 hour, 2 hours, you will be mastered in MCP. No, it's not like that. Okay, it will be prolonged session, multiple session. You have to keep the patience, you have to keep the trust. If you do that and if you follow this tutorial, I'll promise you, just wait for a couple of days, watch the tutorials, you'll be having fun out of it because learning is always a fun journey. Okay, so stay tuned for the upcoming videos. We'll be discussing more, and if you have any kind of question, any kind of comments, feel free to put it on my YouTube video links. I will be happy, to answer those questions as early as possible from my end. Definitely, I will do that. And let's learn together. Let's enjoy the learning together. Let's have some fun. Okay. And if you like this particular YouTube channel, like previous, so many person has liked this channel. So I'm obliged to them. So if you really like this channel, my initiative, my workings, and how I represent the thing, please Do a like to the video. Please follow this channel, subscribe to this channel, and share this tutorial as much as possible to every developer community out there. So, without any further delay, let's jump in and happy coding. Hi everyone. So this is the very beginning tutorial journey of our a prolonged long journey onto the MCP world model context protocol. So today in the very first day, what we are going to cover, we'll understand the basic concept of MCP and we'll see what is essential to get going with respect to the development. That's the only two objectives that we are going to cover in this part 1 version. So, if you want to learn MCP actually, then obviously you have to come this particular website. Okay, github.com MCP protocol. Okay, this is the mother site of MCP. Now, if you come down on this particular site, okay, you will see a link for documentation. If you click on this, it will open up another window for you where all the documentation of MCP are available. Okay, so you can read it very slowly. I will go through this document with you, okay, on the introductions part, so that we can at least get an alignment, what exactly the MCP is and why even we want to learn it, because there is always a reason to learn, correct? So, and if you come down over here, you will see that, here is a Python SDK, TypeScript SDK, you can build the MCP server client with a, C# SDK also. But for this tutorial, we'll be focusing on the Python SDK. So if you click on this, so your Python SDK site on GitHub will open up and you will see a lot of documentation, how to create a server, how to create a client and blah, 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 all the stuff over here. So we'll be primarily focusing on this. Okay. Now let's go to the documentation part. So introduction is here. Why MCP? Okay. So if you come down over here, you will see that, this is the architecture, small architecture diagram is present on this particular web page. Now, let's break down it. Why even we want to learn MCP today? Okay. Allow me to explain that process to you with a very simple terminology. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I will just bring this particular, dashboard to you and I'll try to show you what is what. Okay. Now let's say that you are building a AI application today. Okay. So you are building a AI app of your own. Okay. So now this AI app, when you want to build it, it should be communicating to a large language model or LLM. It could be your Chat GPT model, it could be Google Gemini, it could be Claude Anthropics, anything that you pick up. Okay. So you need a LLM over here to communicate with your AI apps to get it going. Why it is needed? Because the thing is that this particular AI app will communicate. Let's say you are giving a task to this particular AI app. What is my task? Let's say my task is for now, okay, let's say I want to send a mail, okay, using my Gmail account for now. Now this is a task that you have assigned to your LLM. Now what will happen that your AI app, let's say I give another task to my AI app. Okay, so let's say I am giving a task, browse internet for info. Okay, for an info. So what I'm asking this application to do is that, I'm asking my AI app, I'm assigning two tasks. First, browse the net for a particular info and send a mail to my Gmail account. That's the only two tasks I have sent to this AI app. Now, the thing is that
the AI app will to try to communicate with this LLM. Okay. So once the request is being received, this AI app will try to communicate with this large language model. Okay. To understand what to do, what not to do. Okay. As per the user base request. Now this LLM will actually respond back to the agent, to the AI application that, hey, the user asked you to do a particular task, so you need to perform these particular following blah 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 steps. So the steps, why it is necessary, I will come to it. Okay. Now the problem over here is that if it is a very generic task, like let's say, browse the internet for a particular information and send me a mail. Okay, that's a very generic task. But now let's say that you have some kind of documentation. It's a very personal documentation. Okay, let's say it's your note. Okay, your notes. Now if you ask this AI application about your note and do some kind of stuff, let's say you are asking, search my note, okay, and get the relevant information from the note. Let's say it can be a PDF file also. You have a large collection of PDFs. So you are asking the AI application, could you, go to the my note and find out this particular piece of information and send me a summarized information to my email account. Now, will the LLM is able to orchestrate this entire flow? Absolutely not, because this is what is called context, correct? So the LLM may not be having the information of your notes. Then how can it get the summarization out of the note? It is not possible. So you need to plug it in onto the path. Okay, so you need to inform LLM about this particular note that exists, and it will pass by your AI application to the LLM, so that now LLM can view it, what is the context has been passed to it, okay, and responds back the AI app with some relevant, let's say, summarization information that needed to be passed to the email. Okay, so that means LLM are really they are smart. Okay, they are pretty smart, but you have to remember one key point. Okay, LLM are smart as well as they are dumb. So you are getting confused, correct? So I'm saying LLM as smart. Again, I'm saying LLM as dumb. So what is the reason behind it? I will come to that. So LLM are nothing. See, a large language model does not have any kind of intelligence. Okay, it's a largest stat model. Okay, what does it mean? So if you put some token, input token over here, let's say you're formulating a question. Okay. So your question, whatever question you are asking to the LLM, it get transferred to a thing called token. Okay. This token actually getting passed to this LLM. Now, what LLM actually does, it sees the token, understands the purpose of the token, and give you a similar token structure written back. Okay. Now, how it is doing that? So that is called the LLM search. Let's say LLM has a very large, knowledge base around it. Okay. So let's say it's a vector database, huge vector database. It's trained with a trillion of data. Okay. So whenever you are searching for something, what is happening behind the screen? It is going to its knowledge base. Okay. It's KV to find out the Euclidean distance. Means it is actually what is it doing actually. So it is find out the minimum distance in its knowledge base. What are the token has been passed to it? Okay. Now it is getting the response back from this particular KV of its own and formulating the answer via token and passing it back to the AI applications. Okay. So a lot of things is happening. Now, what I'm discussing with this to you, now you see that without this information, if I don't put the information, then it become a dump box, correct? So it is the knowledge what is driving this LLM. LLM has its own personal knowledge base. Okay. Now, let's say that you wanted to have some kind of information about your note. So obviously, LLM is not having the information of your notes. So if you ask the LLM to make a summarization, let's say you are asking, on my note, find this particular topic and send me a summarization of the topic. Now the question is that if the LLM does not, having any kind of understanding of your note, how can it summarize it? So it needs your note information to make the summarization out of it. So obviously this become also a knowledge base for you. Okay. Now, so this is how the things work. Okay. Now, what is the problem in it and why MCP are even here to solve the problem today? Okay, that's the point we are discussing, correct? So the problem here is that, you see, let's say I have my notes over here, I have my let's say my one of my DB information out here, okay, and also let's say I have some information via API endpoint in the cloud. Okay, so these become immediately my resources. Note, DB, AI app, all things are my resources. Okay, so my knowledge vault, correct? This entire thing is my knowledge vault. Now, so obviously, whenever I'm asking a question to the LLM, it is obvious that I should be supplying this knowledge box to the LLM along with my question. That's the point. Okay. Now send it back. Okay, now this is my KV knowledge base. Okay, so whenever I'm asking some kind of question to the LLM by my AI app, actually, so it should be passing this context to this particular LLM. Okay, now you can say that yeah, I understand that thing. So it can be done by writing a simple Python function, and I will just expose the my Python function as a tool to the LLM, and LLM will understand that. So why MCP? Yes, you are absolutely right. That is what was happening till MCP has come into the picture. But till they always, people use the tools. But tools are the problem. What is the problem statement here? Let's say uh, you want to, let's say it is your Google Drive. Okay. So you want to access some kind of information from Google Drive and pass it to the LLM along with your all the questions. Correct? Now you see the problem over here is that, let's say I'm passing this context to here. Okay. So obviously this piece of code I need to write. Correct? This piece of code I need to write this particular code over here. Without code it will not work. So let me it code called tool function tools, whatever you like to call it. So it's a piece of code block that you want to write over here. Okay. Now let's say another person in the world is performing the same activity. Okay. So it's not your need that you want to fetch the data from your Google Drive and send the information to LLM and ask some question. Maybe someone is also in the world is working for the same direction. Now let's say he or she is also writing some piece of code over here. Okay, it's another person who is writing this code. Now see, for a simple thing, for achieve a single target, okay, so I'm duplicating it. Okay, so let's say another person is writing code, another person is writing code, all the people are writing blah 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 code over here. Okay, now you see the problem. For solving a particular single thing, correct, everybody is jumping and writing the code. So what is happening? It's the code is actually getting duplicated and it is misuse of the effort. Correct, everybody is putting in their effort. So that's the number one problem statement over here. Okay, now the second problem statement is that, let's say that let's say you don't care about the world, okay, and you are happy. Now, this is your AI app 1. Now, let's say you are building the same AI app 2 today, okay. Tomorrow, let's say this is my AI app 2, okay. Now, it is using, let's say somewhere it is also using the same functionality, correct? So that means it is also wanted to access your Google Drive. This need to access your Google Drive, okay. Now you see the problem that if you are, let's say, let me put it over here actually. Let's say this is my app 1. This boundary is my app 1, okay. Up to this is my app 1, correct? So to back, let's say this is my app 1. Now I'm also trying to make a app 2 with the similar functionality. Maybe, instead of sending a mail, okay, I want to pass this information to be posted on somewhere, correct? So I need this knowledge vault from here, ask the LLM to do a summarization and post it to somewhere, not in my email, okay. It's a separate business activity altogether, okay. So now you will have the app 2 over here. This is your application 2, correct? Now you see the problem that this application or piece of code or function tool was in this box, correct? In this particular box, it is residing in this particular box, okay. That's my app 1, okay. Now I want to have the same leverage on app 2. So obviously what I need to do, either I have to expose these things, I have to take it somewhere else, and let's say I'm taking it to APIs, okay. I have to host it on APIs, not over here, and give this functionality back via APIs, okay. So that should be my architecture, because in that way what I can do, I can manage this accessibility, means the same code block that I want to reuse actually with my app 2 also, correct? That is how I should architect these things. Now, so it is moving to the direction of the APIs, okay. Now it is possible, I'm not saying it is not possible, it is possible, very much possible. But let's say I want to make things simple, okay. Because you see, whenever this particular, let's say my tool want to communicate with this web server which can provide my Gmail access, so I have to make similar kind of tool over here also, which will make the communication, okay, which will make the communication. So it is lot of thing getting duplicated and making the complex, process more and more complex, okay. And it will work on the HTTPS, okay. So there are a lot of things will come across this. Now to resolve this problem, what Anthropic has done actually, they come up with a proposal called MCP. So here is your problem statement and here is the solution from MCP, okay. So we have two problems. Lot of people are making the same code, and even I am writing the same code for a different application altogether. I need to make so many changes over here, okay, to make the communication going. Now to resolve this particular two problem, they have come up with things called MCP. Now what is MCP? So what is happening over here, let's say I just copy this LLM, this AI app. Let me bring it over here, okay. It's the same. So there is a LLM, there is a AI app that making the communication with the LLM. It remains always the same, okay. It remains always the same. But let's say now I want to access the Google Drive, okay. So what MCP is doing over here, that they are creating a thing called MCP server, okay. So we are calling it a MCP server. in this server, you have already, this tool embedded to it. Okay. So you have the availability of this particular tool over here. Like, a Google Drive is a functionality or tool that we want to expose via the MCP. Okay. So it's called a tool, correct? So it's a tool. Okay. Now you can have resources and prompt also. It's not about tools. It can contain a MCP server, can contain the resources and the prompt also. Now the beauty is here that now let's say someone, it is not you want the functionality, okay, that I want to access my Google Drive. So we'll see the thing. Won't be nice that someone has already written the code and you can just hook it up with your AI app, okay, not writing any single piece of code, and use your Google Drive as it is, and it fulfill your purpose. Okay, so that is what this MCP server is all about. Okay, this is your MCP server. So you have a lot of server available in MCP world that you can hook it up. Now if you go to this particular web page over here, if you come down over here in the server section, let me go to the server section for you. Okay, you see the server list of available servers. Now see, it's starting over here. Okay, you see archive servers, third-party servers, you name it. Okay, lot of third-party server which is providing this the functionality that you maybe wanted for your application is already there, whatever you want to access, and it is growing in a very first phase. So you want to connect AstroDB, you connect to Auth1, AWS, Azure. You don't have to write a code anymore. You just bring this server, okay, back to your application, and it will work flawlessly for you. Okay, now the point here is that you have a lot more servers over here. Okay, now how your AI app will communicate? Do you have to do something? Yes, you have to do one thing. You have to make a MCP client over here. You have to make a MCP client over here in your AI app. Okay, this MCP client will take the responsibility now. So it is not around your AI apps anymore. You have a MCP client embedded on your AI apps that will communicate with this server. Okay, let's say it has a call tool 1. Okay, and let's say it's a two tools. Okay, over here tool 1 and tool 2. Tool 2 in this MCP server. Okay, now similar way your MCP client which is embedded on your AI apps can communicate with multiple servers. It is not about one server. Okay, it can go in any direction. So let's say you are having another MCP server over here. Okay, it calls it let's call it, oh my goodness, 1 minute please. Okay, tool 3. Now let's say we have another server. This is your MCP server 2, where we have tool 3 and tool 4. Correct? Now this is my MCP server 1. Okay, this is my MCP server 1 and this is my MCP server 2. They are exposing different set of tools for a different capability. Okay, now your MCP client will communicate to this particular MCP server. Okay, now you can have multiple server where a MCP client can communicate. Okay, now as a user you ask a question. Okay, what you did, you ask a question, correct, to your AI app. You supply a question to your AI app. Okay. Now, what exactly is happening over here on MCP world that when you send a question to your AI app, okay, your AI app will now communicate with the LLM and saying that, hey, LLM, the user has asked for this particular question, okay, and I have 4 tools with me: tool 1, tool 2, tool 3, tool 4. Okay, let me know what should I do. That is a question going from your AI app to the large language model in a very first place. Okay, now it is passing all the tool information, okay, with this particular request to the LLM. Now your LLM will respond back to you that it will say that if it find out the particular tool to solve the problem. Let's say this is my tool 1, which actually access my Google Drive, okay, and this has a capacity of sending a email via Gmail. Okay, now what should I do? What is the question? The question asks, can you take a documentation from my Google Drive and summarize it to send my Gmail account? That was the question supplied by the user, actor. Okay. Now, when the AI app is communicating to the LLM, it is passing all the tool information to it and asking, what should I do? Your AI app is a dump app. Okay. Now, LLM, when observing all the tools, it will send back you on a particular request. Is that, execute, it will say that, execute Google Drive tool and pass it back the information to me. Okay, that should be the initial response coming from LLM to the AI app. Now what the AI app will do, now the AI app will execute this particular Google Drive tool via the MCP client. It will hand over the responsibility to the MCP client. MCP client will execute this Google Drive tool, okay, and pass back this information to the AI app as a response, and it will be embedded with the chat information that was going for the LLM, okay. And now your AI app will send this information back, to your LLM, and will ask what is my next step. Okay, now the LLM will see that whatever content was passed to this request to the LLM, and let's say it summarized the thing. The user was asking to summarization. The summarization will happen over here. Okay, so it will summarize your documentation, okay, and send back the response to you along with the information that now call this particular email to Gmail tool that will send a mail to the Gmail. Okay, so it will say, now the LLM will say to you that this particular AI app that execute Gmail tool. It's second step. Okay, now this Gmail tool will be executed by the MCP client, okay, and it will pass back the information to your Gmail account. Okay, so that means that even this piece of code accessing your Google Drive or sending a mail to your account, Gmail account, was developed by a very different person. You are not anymore duplicating the code. You are only configuring to call this MCP remote servers, okay, by your MCP client to do the work stuff for you. Okay, you're saving your time and effort. Now, let's say here we have a tool called, search my doc. Okay, So let's say this tool is available as called search my doc. So that means, okay, I will not put it over here. It will be confusing for you. Okay. Let's say this MCP server was come from cloud. This MCP server was come from cloud. Okay. Now what I will do that, I will create a separate MCP server for ourselves. Okay. Let's say this is our own MCP server, server 3. Okay. And it has, your notes, your DB. Okay. So let's say it's a get note function. Okay. Sorry. 1 minute. Let's say it's a get note function. It's a save note function. And this is of your own. You are writing this. Okay. Nobody's writing for you. You are only the writer of it. So let me put a different color tone over here. So this is my own function. Get note, save note, all are written by me actually. Okay. And take data from my database. Let's say the name of the function is take data from database. Okay. So this is my own knowledge vault. Okay. And own tools over here. Now the same way the MCP client now communicate with our own knowledge base also. Okay. Now let's say the question was, now the question is that search my note and find out my EMP info, employee information, and one. Should not be like that. Okay. Because LLM are smart. You only need to supply a question. Let's say your DB contain information of your employee, EMPs. Okay. You just fire a simple question to it. Give me the employee list who has salary greater than, let's say, $1,000. This is your simple question. Okay. So you are asking that, your AI app that, can you give me a list of employee, okay, which has a salary of greater than $1,000. Now what will happen? Similar way, this all tool information, tool 1, tool 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the 7 tool will be exposed to the LLM. Okay, so it will be a 7 tool. 7 tool along with the definition, parameters, and all the stuff will be exposed to the LLM with your question. Okay. Now once LLM receive this tool information that your MCP client is supplying to it, okay, what it will do that, it will send you a response that, access is sort of, okay, I'm just prototyping you. Once we go to the lab and in a subsequent sequence, we will see how it is working. Okay, it will say that, execute DB EMP. Okay, so it's not a function name. Function name should be like, DB EMP, not, it should be like get EMP, something like that. Okay, to get the employee information. You can understand. If you are a developer, it's a piece of cake for you. No problem. So it will say that, execute this particular get employee information. Okay, and pass back the information to me. Okay, now what it will do that, this get employee will be executed. Okay, and will not supply any parameter. Let's say this get employee does not have any kind of parameter. Okay, it's a blank. So we are not supplying any kind of salary info greater than those kind of SQL clause to it. Okay, it's a simple vanilla, no parameter function, and it will respond back you all the information with a JSON schema on top of it. Okay. Now, what will happen? All this employee information will be passed back to, once executed this tool, your AI app. Now go to the MCP client and ask the MCP client, could you please execute the get employee for me? MCP client is happy. He will say that, sure, why not? Okay. It will execute. It will get back you the result. It will push back to your AI app. Now this AI app will give this information back to the LLM along with the original question, because it was embedded in the chat. Okay. So LLM will see the previous chat, what was the exact ask for. Okay. Because LLM memory is a volatile memory until now, unless you are passing your context back and forth with it. Okay. So I know it is very hard to understand right now for you in this diagram, but if you stay on this YouTube channel, you will see that, things will become more easier when we are going for the day 2, day 3 and doing the hands-on lab, hands-on coding onto it. Then it will become very easy for you. MCP is not a rocket science to understand, but you need to have a very good basic understanding what is going on. Okay, then it's become very simple for you. Trust me. Now, this information along with this, question, okay, will be passed to the LLM. So what information will go? It will take from get employee. Okay, let's say it's the information of your all the employees, and it will pass back to the LLM with the original question. Now here is a intelligence. Okay, it is super duper, smart LLM who knows what was the question, what is the information I am having. Can I do what user asks for? Yes, it can do. You do not have to write any single piece of SQL type query anymore. Okay. And this smart AI will understand, LLM will understand and do the needful and give you the result back to your AI app. Okay. So it will give you the list of employee who is having a salary of more than $1,000. It's a result will come up over here. Okay. From the LLM. This result now will pass back to this particular actor who was asking the question. Now let's say I have just changed the question. Okay. Now let's say give me the employee list who, give me a list of MP from India. Correct? So I'm just changing my question. Now what will happen? It will act with the similar way. Means you see the get employee do not have any kind of parameter to pass on. Okay. So again the same flow will happen. The question has been changed. The information will same be passed to the LLM. LLM are smart, more are, they're enormously smart to understand and do the thing over here. Okay. They're brilliant actually. Okay. To execute this kind of natural query. I'm supplying my query with a very natural language, and I'm not writing any more complicated SQL to get my data out of the box and send back to give me the result. No, this kind of things has gone actually. Okay. It's a dinosaur era when we used to do that. Now it's age for the AI. So we are processing our query with a very natural language syntax. Okay. Now the LLM is smart enough. It will push back your result. You are happy. Your actor will get the result. Okay. So now you see why MCP is enormously important today, because your MCP client is capable of exposing, lot more tools to the LLM. Maybe you are writing the code here in this get node, shape node and get employee, or maybe you are taking the tool from already what is been written and available in MCP server in the community world. Okay. So either you write it, either you don't write it. If you have it, you want a functionality. It is already there. Why to write the code? Correct. I can reuse it. That's simple. All I care, I need to, make a MCP client. That's it in my code. And it will automatically flow, automatically work. I don't have to take, the botheration of making our entire server to orchestrate a particular mechanism. Now, on the example that is up ahead, in our YouTube video tutorial, you will see that, we'll not only, give this kind of question, rather we can give a more complicated question like, give me a list of EMP taken leave on last month and save it to my notes or email it. So see the query when you keep a user a simple text box to write a normal query. So query come around for different directions, correct? So how many times you are going to write your SQL? It is not possible. So you need someone, if you give the access of the data, that person is your LLM, a smart thing in our arsenal of development arsenal right now. It's a smart thing, okay? A smart helper, okay, which will understand your query with the given, if you're giving the correct tool to it, you are passing the correct information to it, it will do the work for you, okay? So that is all for right now. So obviously you can understand that you from MCP server, this could be your remote server, which is written by someone else very, okay? You are not writing those code. You are not accessing your Google Drive, accessing the code. You are not writing those things. You are not sending, writing a code to send a mail to Gmail. It's already there. You can use it. Reuse it. Okay. Why to write? Make your development faster. Make you more productive. Correct. Now, if you have very custom requirement, like you want to access your own database, write a tool for you. Okay. And the fantastic part is that today this is your AI app. Correct. One. Tomorrow you could be defining another AI app that is called, let's say your AI app 2, and you have the server already with you. You just need to hook the server with your second AI app. That's it. It will automatically flow, automatically work. So you are not writing, even you are building multiple, AI application. If you having one server which is capable to do one particular thing, let's say it's expose your employee data, that's good enough for you. You can just hook up all your AI app to this employee server, MCP server, where you think that your AI app need the data to do the work. So that's the beauty of MCP. Now, generally this MCP comes with the two protocol. One is called STDIO and one is called streamable-http. So I will just give you an introduction between the STDIO and streamable-http, and we'll deep dive in our subsequent video sessions. So let's say I just open up one browser one more time. Let's say let me start for Azure. Okay. Azure. Okay. I believe that was Microsoft Doc, as far as I remember. Let's say. Yeah, Microsoft Learn Docs. Okay. It's an MCP server. Someone has created for you. What is the beauty of it? Just see it. So if you click any MCP server, it will come down to this kind of page for you. Okay. What you need to do, on your client. Okay. So that means on your MCP client. Okay. So your MCP client could be anything. Okay. Your MCP client could be like, your code. It could be Claude Desktop. It could be client. We'll see all the things. Okay. It could be VS Code, Visual Studio Code, Git Copilot. Okay. So they all can access the MCPs. They all can work as a MCP host and MCP client. Okay. So any of them, if you configure any of them, your code, Claude, client, and your VS Code Copilot. Okay. We'll see in our demo. We'll see all the things. But for now, as a knowledge purpose, okay, you just only have to copy this. Let me go down. Let me go down over here. Okay. So it is, you see Claude Desktop. how it is getting configured? Go over here. Okay. Now, only thing you need to do is that, this piece of information you need to supply. Okay. How we are going to supply? You will see in our next video. For to now, let's say I want to configure Claude. What I need to do? I need to open up the Claude. Okay. It's very, very simple. Trust me. You just hang on. Okay, I will show you. So here it is. Now go to this, in this button, you will see that, these tools are available for our Claude right now. Okay. What we need to do, if you want to execute this particular tool with us, all you need to do is, let me open up the Claude configuration file, go to this, settings, go to the developer section, edit the config. Okay. So it will bring the Claude desktop config file for you. Now open it, on your, I will open it on VS Code. You can use any text editor, whatever you would like to. Okay. So now if I show you the Claude config, okay, I was working on something, so I will just remove this portion. Initially, if you do not have installed any kind of MCP server, you will see something like this. Okay, it's a blank. Okay. Now what you need to do, you just go to this, you want to use this MCP server, correct? That's the objective. Okay. Now carefully just copy this line. That's it. Go back to your Claude config file. Paste it. Okay. Now if you open up the Claude, you will not see that, let me close it down and open up the Claude one more time for you. So you will not see that, if I click on new chat over here and go over here, you will not see the tool is coming over here. You're expecting that, correct? One trick you need to apply. Now go to your task manager. Where is my task manager? Oh man, where it is? Hold on. Okay. I will bring my task manager over here. Okay. And by name of the app, okay, find C for Claude. Where is C? Here is the Claude. Okay. You need to end the task. All the Claude instance should be closed. Okay. Now you reopen the Claude one more time. Finger crossed. We want this MCP server to be coming on Claude, correct? Let's see what is, if it is working or not. Okay. Hold on. Did I save it or not? Give me 1 minute. Did we save it? Oh, hold on. Okay, it's saying MCP server disconnected. What we did wrong? Let's see. Let's see what we have done wrong. Okay, did I copy something wrong from here? Okay, so just hold on. So it's better to have, some kind of error, because sometimes I do it intentionally to show you something. So you see that, whenever you're opening the Claude, it is not working, and it is saying that could not attach to the MCP server file system. Okay, there is an error. But while working on Claude, it is very difficult to, with this information, what we will understand. Okay, you have done something mistake in the config file, but what is that actually? That you need to understand, correct? How to do it. Here is a trick for you. Now, once you install Claude, this is the Claude config file. For me, it will be, a different user location for you, but generally it's app data roaming Claude. Okay. Now, here is a thing called log. Okay. Now you see all the MCP server that we want to communicating, or we want to communicate, what we have communicated, will be presented at Claude, log systems. So we are working with the MCP server file system right now, correct? So you open up that first. Let's see what is the problem in it. Okay, come down over here. So blah blah blah, it's initializing, it is checking the path for system path for something. Okay. Now, okay, what is the problem? You see, client transport closed. Okay, so that's the problem we are having over here. No such file or directory, see user, username, desktop. Okay, so you can clearly see what is the problem statement going on over here. Okay, now you want to fix it, correct? So what exactly the wrong thing we have done? Now see how we are finding that out. Okay, so it's nothing wrong. What we did actually, in a hurry, I am working on my Windows laptop. Okay, and you see the first was for Linux or Mac OS. That's the only problem over here. Okay, I have to go to this Windows, and actually what is happening, see, Linux and Mac, Linux, or Mac OS, it's a, you see, a forward slash. Okay, for Windows it's a backslash, double backslash. One is a escape character, correct? So what we need to just copy this portion, okay, for Windows actually to work, and come back to the Claude JSON config. Let me bring it over here. Change it. You have to change it. The thing we have done wrong. So now we have to make it right. Correct. So this is what we copied. Now only thing we have to replace it properly. Okay. Now again the same thing. You have to go your task manager. Okay. Let me bring my task manager one more time for me. Okay. I need to close it down. Okay. Okay, where is Claude? Here is Claude. Okay, I need to end the task for Claude. Correct. Claude ended. Now I open up the Claude Desktop one more time. Finger crossed. Now it should work. We have done the right things. Voila, no error. Let's see whether we have our tool or not. Again, okay. Now, if I count down over here in the tool section, now you click on this, you will see that this file system tool has come up for us. So it's a server name file system, and it has these lot many tools available to this particular server. So we are not written it. So what it does, let me go to the web page. Okay, so what it does actually, this particular tool or server, MCP server, just hang on. Okay, it is a instruction, blah 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 blah. Okay, where is the tool? Okay, here is the tool, right? So what it does, the Microsoft Learn Docs MCP server is a cloud-hosted service that enable client like GitHub Copilot on all AI agents application to bring trust between the, means it read the Microsoft documentation for you automatically and give you the answer of your question. Okay, that's a summation of it. So we have not written a single piece of code, right? Now if I go to my Claude and if I ask what is let's say Azure VNet, let's see whether it's asking for the tool or not. Okay, fine. We have the tools. Yeah, we have the tools over here, right? Okay. I hope the concept of MCP server is clear to you right now. And what is MCP? How does it work? Even we have shown you a lot of things with not so good diagram also. Okay, so it is a long extending session. So in the next session, we'll discuss, on a separate topic altogether. Thank you for watching this video.